Hello friends, welcome to Mule sessions. Today I would like to talk about Mule error handling scopes. This is a second session on the error handling. So the topic is scopes of error handling. So if you talk about scopes, there are three types of scopes available in the Mule error handling. One is application scope, flow scope, and a processor scope. So coming to application scope, it is kind of a global error handling scope available to multiple flows in your Mule application. Okay, so you can define the application scope. It is a boundary defined to handle errors on multiple flows of your application. So it's like this. Assume you have an Mule application. In this Mule application, you have 10 flows are defined in the Mule application, right? This Mule application have 10 flows, and the requirement is these 10 flows may have a similar kind of error handling. So rather than defining your error handling in each and every flow, right? So the better is you can reuse that kind of error handling. You can define one global error handling scope because they are handling the process of error handling in every flow is the same. So we can define one error handling at global level, and you can refer this error handling in the flow. So if you refer that, if error occurs in flow, then the control goes to the global error handler and it will handle the error, right? So the application scope, you can get application scope error handling by defining the global error handlers. You can have multiple global error handlers, right? So these error handlers taking care of error occurring in multiple flows, right? This is the application scope. And second type of scope is the flow scope. Flow scope. Each flow has a error handling section, right? The flow has the primary three components. One is the event source and event processors, right? When any error occurs in event processors, is taken care by the flow scoped error handler. We can define an error handler, right? This will taking care of handling that error. You may write to log file, you may send a notification, all the stuff. We define in a flow scope error handler, right? For this scope is limited to this flow only. You can't use this error handler in a other flows, right? Then the third type of error handler is a processor scope error handler. So this processor scope error handler, it talking about error handler error occurring in a processor level. So in a flow, in a flow, you want to handle errors occurring in a specific processor or processors in a specialized way. So for this entire flow, you may have one error handler that is taking care of errors occurring inside all these processors. But uh, to the error occurring in these two event processors, you may want to handle in a specialized way, right? So in that case, you can wrap these two event processors in a triscope, and you can define one specialized error handler inside the triscope. Okay. So this talks about error occurring in a single processor or processors you want to handle in a specialized way. You define those in a processor level error handler. So hope the things are clear. This global scope is errors occurs in multiple flows, where a flow scope is only limited to flow. Errors occur in multiple processors. The processor scope is inside a flow. In any processor, I want to use a special treatment. You define the processor scope error handler, right? So in the next sessions, we see each of these type of error handlers in detail, right? As of now, I'm wrapping off. Thank you for watching my session. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.